Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 2. I really enjoyed our discussion in week 1. Nice to meet people that are new to me, and it was really nice to see some familiar faces and be able to have our conversation. Just a reminder with regard to discussions, don't forget that especially your initial post to the prompt should have references and accompanying in-text citations. And I would encourage you to really be able to reference your class readings when you do your posts, in addition to any other research that you may have done. With regard to our assignment from week 1 about IEPs and 504s, I just wanted to make sure that I hit a few of the high points here after grading your assignments. One is an IEP is an individualized education program. Even people who have worked in special ed for 20 years sometimes say IEP is an individual education plan, and it really is a program. Just a small point, but I just wanted to make sure you knew what the accurate name was. A 504 is civil rights legislation. And one point that I want to make sure that everybody understands is a 504 plan, as I had commented on some of your assignments, should not be used as a like a consolation prize for not getting an IEP. The two different pieces of legislation, Section 504 of the Rehab Act and Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, have different requirements. If you're on an IEP, you're covered by 504. If you qualify for a 504, you are not covered by IDEA. Remember, education for IDEA, 504 civil rights. A 504 plan is considered for somebody who is known to have a disability that impacts a major life function and requires accommodations, requires something changed in the how something is done, that they longer passing time, more time on tests, a ramp, special entryways, widening a door. That's the how. Not the what is being learned. The what is, if the what that is being learned is changed, then that's a modification, and that's never done on a 504. That has to be done through IDEA. IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, sort of the test for that is you need to have a disability, and it needs to fall into one of the 13 federal disability categories and require specialized instruction. So there's where the difference is, and you can also get modifications. One thing that I did want to make sure I mentioned to all of you is that there's actually a 14th category of disability. It's called developmental delay, and we do have some early childhood people in this course, including myself. Developmental delay has been adopted by almost every state, and it covers, like in Connecticut, it covers 3 to 5-year-olds. In different states, it goes all the way up, some go all the way up to 8. And what it is it's a non-specific category for very young children that every state comes up with their own criteria. In Connecticut, the criteria is that a 3 to 5-year-old needs to be 1.5 standard deviations below the norm in 2 developmental areas on a standardized evaluation, or 2 standard deviations below in 1 area. But there's actually a sentence at the end that gives the IEP team room to make clinical judgment. So we know that young children aren't always easy to evaluate, and standardized tools are not always the best measure. So it does allow the team to make decisions when they're not able to glean information from enough standardized tests. So remember that there is that 14th category. And then the last thing I want to mention from week 1, and some of you did note this in your assignments, for very young children from birth up till age 3, there is something under IDEA. It's from the Part C of IDEA, and it's called an Individual Family Service Plan, or an IFSP. And that's done through early intervention, and that is a plan, it says it in the name, for families. And it really is working with families to learn how to support and advocate for their child, which is different. It's a family focus. At age 3, it turns to an educational focus. So I hope this clarifies some of the questions that people had on their assignments for week 1. So let's move into week 2. In week 2, you're going to be reading chapters 5, 7, 8, and 11 in your text. assistive technology, learning disabilities, ADHD, and speech and language impairments are what we're going to cover. You have a few videos to watch. And then your discussion this week is really going to be focused on families. So there's a short video for you to watch called Welcome to Holland. Some of you may have heard of this before, and then really have a conversation about maybe your personal experiences or something that you've, really connected with in the readings, and really talking about family support. So, which is super, super important in education. And also we have some health studies majors in health studies. It's also really important in special education. So I'm really looking forward to that conversation about families. I think that that's going to be one of the biggest takeaways I'm hoping you have from this class, is the importance of working with families. And then for our assignment this week, you're going to get to try on a disability. There is an activity you're going to do called Misunderstood Minds. And there's also an ADD simulation. So you are going to do the simulations, and then you can choose to either do a mind map or write a paper about your experiences. You don't have to turn in the actual Misunderstood Minds activity, just your paper or your mind map. If you have any questions or you have any issues with the assignments, please let me know. Make sure that you do use, again, references, and every reference should have at least one in-text citation, so I know where you use the information from the source. And I am always available if you have any questions, and I'm looking forward to hearing from each of you over the course of this week. Have a great week and enjoy the beginning of spring. Take care.